They don't care. Anybody who cares about you would never ask you to do that.
When it finally hits you that you don't want your life to be this way and you try to make a change, you can't pull those things back in. They're out. They're there.
Decisions that you make are decisions that you can't get back.
I would just challenge young men to be better. To just be better than that.
On my kitchen counter at home is a magic box. It's actually my favorite box in the house. Because you see, this magic box allows me to take frozen food from the freezer, put it in the magic box, push the buttons in the right order, and after a minute or so, I bring hot food back out of the magic box. You probably figured out we're talking about my microwave. If anything were to happen, God forbid, to my wife, this magic box on my counter is what would feed me for the rest of my life. Because I'm not the greatest cook, but if it has directions on the side of the box and involves this magic box that stays on my kitchen counter, I could feed myself for quite some time. That's where I can cook. And if someone from another country were to come into my kitchen, I would show them this magic box. And they would be amazed. I would put in frozen food, push buttons in a certain order, wait patiently, and pull the hot food back out of the magic box. And if this person that had never seen a microwave before would ask me, how does it work? I would say, watch, frozen food in, push the buttons, hot food out. They said, no, I understand that. I saw you do that. But how does it make the food hot? It's magic. I have no idea. Just appreciate the magic hot food and don't question the process. You see, I have no idea what happens inside my microwave after I push the buttons. All I know is it makes my food hot. It gives the result that I'm looking for. Unfortunately, too many of us use social media this same way. We push buttons in a certain order to get the result we want, but we have no idea what happens after we push the buttons. It's magic as far as we're concerned, how it's transmitted into cyberspace, into the internet, and how we get the results that we want, that get us the likes, that get us the followers, that get us what we're wanting out of this transaction. But you see, if I don't understand how my microwave works, it's okay, because it's a fairly safe appliance. If I use it in the wrong way, it has built-in safety features that will keep it from burning down my house. But if I don't understand how to use social media, there are no such safety features built into social media. If I use it wrong, it very well can blow up my life. See, back in the early days of the internet, back when I was learning to use it in its infancy, you used to have to type www at the start of every web address. Every commercial you heard, everything said www dot, and then they gave their website. You see, we don't have to type www anymore. The only people still doing that are old people. People like me that grew up doing that. Whenever I speak to adults, I always tell them, I'm launching a Save the W campaign. If you're typing www, stop. You don't need it. You just type in the web address, you type in Google or whatever, and like magic, the internet takes you to the site you're wanting to go to. You can even type a question in the address bar and it will take you to the answers to those questions. They've improved the internet. Now it's just a button on our phone. We don't even type web addresses much anymore. We just hit the button on our phone. But there's a part of me that misses the www days, because that was a constant reminder that this was World Wide Web. This wasn't just a website. This was a porthole that opened up to the world. You see, we knew in the early days of the internet that there was nothing private online, because every time we went online, we had to type www to access World Wide Web. We knew this was a conversation happening in front of the world. Today, when we hit a button on our phone, we forget that we're opening up a porthole to the world. How do I know we forget? Because we're oversharing at an alarming rate. Quite frankly, if I can be honest with you, I don't care how many poopy diapers you have changed today. And even worse, I could care even less how many times you have pooped today. See, we live in a world of TMI. We are inundated with too much information all the time, every day, because people forget that this is World Wide Web. It's not a private conversation anymore. It's in front of the world. And none of these conversations are private. Now, every time I do a student presentation, I have students that come up to me after that presentation. And they said, but you don't understand. I've got all of my privacy settings locked down. Everything is set to private on my social media, so I'm not sharing things in front of the world because of my privacy settings are protecting me. And I just laugh every time they tell me that, because I think it's absolutely adorable that they still believe in online privacy. It doesn't exist. There is no such thing as online privacy. You see, you can have privacy or you can have social media. You can't have both. And I'm a big fan of social media. I use it every day. But we have to do all of the damage control before we hit share, because we can't get it back once it's put out there. Once it's sent out, we've lost all control over it. So we have to go upstream of the problem to prevent it before it gets polluted down the World Wide Web and not put bad stuff into the web. So imagine this. What if you sent me a private message, a private snap, an instant message, a text, whatever it was? What if I found that share that you gave me witty enough, funny enough, relevant enough that I screenshotted what you sent me and I uploaded it to my Instagram, or I tweeted it out, or whatever? Some of you right now are cringing just at the thought of what you believe to be a private conversation shared with the world. You see, you may have all of your privacy settings locked down, but if I can't retweet you, I can screenshot what you put and share it with my platform. And that can be shared with other people's platforms, and you will get all of the credit for something that you thought was a conversation between one or two people. See how quickly this can blow up. It's not a private medium. It's World Wide Web. It's a porthole to the world.
The decisions that you make are decisions that you can't get back. Unfortunately, years after leaving the industry, there's so much content out there, personal, public, that continues to be resurfaced anytime I try to do something new. And, before you hit the like button or before you hit the share button, this is stuff that you really need to consider if you do want to go to college, to start a new career, have a new life. Really think about those decisions and how they're going to affect you, because when you're in it, you don't think of it. You just think it's just going to be there right then. But it's not. I continue to face challenges such as taking down content of people pretending to be me, taking down content that they had no permission to use, and it's not even stuff that I'm searching for. It's just random things like a blessed mentor of mine will try to communicate with me, and she'll be directed to a page that has nothing to do with my life today. And so it's really unfortunate that other people are getting exposed to stuff that they didn't ask for.
You can't control phones. You can't control what people are taking pictures of. I mean, you try to, and they try to do that, but honestly, you don't know. So you have no control over what's going out and what isn't. And that's something I didn't have to deal with as much, but now it's crazy. I mean, the very video of you dancing on stage can go viral, like super easy, and you have zero control over any of that stuff. And when it finally hits you that you don't want your life to be this way and you try to make a change, you can't pull those things back in. They're out. They're there. There is no taking it back.
You see, you've been wired by the culture that you've grown up in to believe that online communication is the best form of communication. I'll give you, it's probably the easiest and probably the most convenient. But is it the best? Well, to understand that, we have to unpack the magic. We have to understand what happens after we push the buttons. So what happens if you send me a message, a text, a tweet, a snap, whatever, from your device to mine? Part of the magic is it doesn't go from your device to mine, which is why it cracks me up when kids get impatient that they send you a text and you don't get it right away. You see, it's not going from device to device. It goes from a device to a server somewhere where a copy is made and a copy is sent to my device. It's going possibly thousands of miles. Give it a few seconds to get there. And you see, there's a copy on that server even if both of us delete. Once you send it online, you have lost all control of what happens to that message. And if we understand how the process works, it's going to change how we use the technology. You see that pic that you sent to your boyfriend because he convinced you that's what girls do when they love somebody? Even if he deletes and you delete, there's still a copy out there somewhere. And here's a scary statistic that you need to understand. 86% of sexual pictures meant for one person are shared. That means 86% of the time he's showing someone else. Now, I have girls that come up to me after presentations, teenagers, and they're distraught. And they say, "You don't understand my boyfriend. He's part of the 14% that doesn't share." He's not, sweetheart. He's not. At the least, he's shown his phone to his friends. At worst, he's texted them a copy. He's posted a copy. He's sent a copy through some online secure source like Snapchat or something that's not secure. He has 86% of the time shown that picture to somebody else. And don't forget about that copy that's on a server somewhere that we have no idea when that copy will ever be deleted. You see, it's not secure.
When it comes to girls in high school being pressured into sending their boyfriends pictures and messages, I really just have one thing to say to that. I was thinking, every single one of those guys that I wanted to impress in junior high, high school, even college, not one of them are a man worth speaking to today. And I'm sorry to say that. I wish they were. I want nothing but great things for their life. But I think about that, like these guys that I desperately wanted their attention, like the stuff that they're doing today because they are those kind of guys make me sick. And so I would really consider, like, is this somebody that you really would trust with your life later on, that you would trust in building a family with and a whole and healthy life? Or is this just something that's to get you out of yourself because there's something that's missing? I would go and figure out what it is that's missing, so that you don't make devastating decisions to please somebody that is not worth pleasing in this season of their life. And so I would save that for somebody who's truly going to build you up.
If you're ever being pressured by somebody that you're interested in to send pictures or videos, I don't think they're worth it. They clearly, they don't care. Anybody who cares about you would never ask you to do that. And I can tell you it's the worst feeling in the world to think that something could be out there. You share something with someone that you trust, and you think it's just between the two of you. And so quickly, that person, no matter who it is, they can share it publicly. That's the most intimate thing that you have. And to share a video or a photo, it robs a piece of you that you can never get back.
How big an issue is this? How about 44% of high school boys have seen a pornographic picture of a classmate on their device? Not a porn star, not a supermodel, a classmate. Somebody like you. 44% of them, which means almost half of our high school boys either are in possession or have been in possession of child pornography. Because you see, if the person that took that pic, if the person pictured in that pic is under the age of 18, it's child pornography. You see, this is the stuff that if we don't understand the magic, will blow up your life. If we don't understand what happens after we push the buttons, this is the kind of stuff that will keep you from getting jobs, keep you from getting into college, and could land you in prison. Because you see, child pornography, possession of child pornography, is a federal felony offense. If you send that pic to anybody else or you just show that pic to your buddies, that is distribution of child pornography. This is the stuff that will blow up your life. This is the stuff you can't get back. This is the stuff we've got to get upstream to prevent. And if we understand the technology, we'll use it better. Hear me on this. Ladies, you have nothing to prove to anybody. Gentlemen, if it's on your device, delete it today.
I would just say to young men in general, having things on your phone and having pictures of people that you know and things like that, I would just challenge young men to be better, to just be better than that. I mean, if it's what everybody's doing, be different. I mean, why do you have to be like everybody else? Stand out, stand up, and take control of the situation. It doesn't have to be this way. Just because it's what's happening a lot doesn't mean that you can't be part of the change. It doesn't have to be the norm, and we can change the norm.
You have new information. With new information comes new responsibilities and new opportunities to do the right thing. You see, you've been wired by your culture to believe that this is what's normal. It's time for a rewire.
I would say with social media, in regards to my experience, one of the biggest things that I was addicted to was attention. And so receiving affirmation from men, from women, I didn't care who I received affirmation from. And so I think it goes back to like when you're a child, sometimes, like even bad attention is attention. And so when you're not getting that healthy, good attention that you're supposed to be getting from your family, from your church, and from all of that, things that are truly like lifelong building up, as you start to seek out attention that's devastating, but it feeds something in you. It feeds something very real in you. And so I think the biggest concern with social media is, one, is you're pointing people to yourself. You can't get enough of yourself. And instead of pointing people to something that's bigger and greater than you. And so that cycle becomes addicting. And so when you start putting things out there that aren't getting as much attention, what happens is you start to create content that shocks people and gets more attention just to feed that same cycle.
I can't imagine having a cell phone accessible with a camera to where I would take a selfie and post it. I know how vulnerable I was when people said things to me at the hallway at school, so I can't imagine a picture of me being online and someone saying something bad or getting a private message that says, okay, now show me more. I feel like I would be so ready for that attention, and to feel like that's how I would get male attention. I feel like so many young girls now feel like that's what they have to post this or wear that and post another one or send a private picture to gain that acceptance because that's normal, because that's what everybody else is doing. As a trafficking survivor, I definitely I see a lot of signs in social media. I see how easy it is. It's the first step to lure these victims in. In Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, every month we knew the clubs would be raided, and every month I saw teenage girls being arrested that I was shocked they were teenage girls. I think it's very important to take time when you get to know someone. I also think it's very important to not meet people online. I know that's kind of the way things are this day and age, but I think it's just so important. I mean, I met my trafficker in person, and all he did was show me a few pictures in his hand and talk to me, and I believed him. So I can't imagine for kids to get way more online communication. You really don't know who you're talking to online. It's so dangerous.
Hi, my name is Ked Frank, and I'm the founder and director of Refuge for Women. We house victims of human trafficking and exploitation. Over the last 5 years, we've had over 100 women that have come through our doors looking for help. They've gotten involved in things that they didn't fully understand, and now hurt and pain have resulted from those experiences. They wanted to feel beautiful and liked by a watching world, craving acceptance from people they didn't even know. Later, they found that these people never even cared for them in the first place. Social media can be similar, as we are chasing those likes in what we post. As Scott said, once that post occurs, it is in the cyber world forever. What may have seemed innocent and fun at the time could lead to complications down the road. Let's live beyond regrets and recognize things that we are looking for from social media before we post. As you move into your groups, there's going to be discussions about social media for you to talk about with your friends and with your leader.